I finished the book Night Watcher. It was a couple of weeks ago, like 1 or 2 weeks, and I'm just really bad at making videos. But I finished Night Watcher, and this is kind of another horror video. I know it's not October yet, but I'm just trying to make some videos, and most of what I read is horror, so it's not like I have a lot to talk about if I don't talk about horror. This one, how did I find this? I think I literally just found this because it was at my local bookstore and it seemed like a pretty new book. So I was like, you know what, that's interesting. I haven't seen this before, I don't know anything about it, so I might as well try it out. It's a horror book, but it's mostly like crime horror / detective horror. It's not like monster horror, body horror. Let me read you a couple things from it, like the blurb. Nora Straight, a late night call-in radio good start. Nora Straight, a late night call-in radio host in Portland, Oregon, listens to stories of hauntings and cryptic sightings for a living. But one foggy wet evening, when a caller describes an eerie scene that triggers memories of Nola's escape from a serial killer years before, she becomes fearfully aware that he's back to finish what he started. Nola Straight is being watched again. After an encounter with a notorious serial killer in the Pacific Northwest as a child, Nola has grown up and tried her best to forget her traumatizing night with the hiding man. She installed security cameras outside her Oregon home and never spoke of her experience, and now hosts Night Watch, a popular radio call-in show her semi-famous father used to run. When coincidences lead Nola to believe that she's being stalked, a caller on Night Watch has a live incident with an intruder in the caller's home, the description of whom is chillingly familiar. Nola is convinced that the killer has resurfaced and is coming for her. With a mysterious next-door neighbor lurking in the shadows, more people getting hurt, and the police not taking her concerns seriously, and evidence pointing towards her own father, Nola decides to become, like her listeners, a night watcher herself, and uncover the monster behind the hiding man's mask. I will say, this is on the more expensive end of books that I buy. I know I've talked a couple times before about prices of books, but this book was $29, and I'm always happy to pay for books. I'm always happy to pay for art, but this is definitely on the higher end of what I would pay for this book. It's not because it's a bad book, it just feels a little bit fluffy to have that high of a price tag, but you know, all the prices of everything's going up, so I shouldn't be surprised. The funniest part, I think, to me about this book was who the author is. Let me show the photo that's in the book. Daphne Wollstonecraft, a Los Angeles native, is a host and producer of the hit true crime podcast Going West. When she's not writing or researching true crime cases, you can find her traveling to gloomy destinations, catching the newest horror film in theaters, or reading on the couch with her plump English bulldog Dewey. I just find it amusing that she is a podcast host herself and she decided to write about a podcast host. I will say it does feel very convincing because of course she knows the industry, she knows what goes into making a podcast, but to me it feels very self-inserty, which isn't a bad thing. Again, like, I really love how it's written and I just love the book in general. It's a very cool, creepy crime horror book. And I also love the idea of Night Watch. I wish that the Night Watch podcast was a thing. I mean, I definitely watch like similar podcasts. So I guess I'm always looking for something new to listen to. But I don't know, it's kind of funny that she is a podcaster and created a book around podcasts and a podcaster who's haunted by a dark past. Some of the quotes include, "Night Watcher grips you with a sense of voyeurism as though you're the one being watched." That's true. I did feel like I was looking over my shoulder while I was listening to it, because I usually listen to podcasts, and I was listening to it at work, and it just started making me really jumpy. I think I scared a few customers when they walked in on me and I didn't know that they were there. "A truly terrifying page turner to be read with the lights on. Daphne Wollstonecraft is a thriller writer to watch." Yeah, I am really excited for whatever she writes next. If this is her first book or like one of her first books, is it? I honestly do not know. I should have looked this up. I mean, she doesn't have any other books listed, so I'm assuming. Usually they say if it's like a debut novel or not. Daphne Wollstonecraft is a natural storyteller who earned a name for herself with the integrity and respect she brings to her popular true crime podcasts. She infuses her novel with the same heart and empathy while at the same time giving you chills up your spine. Night Watcher is a stunner of a novel from a rising star in the genre. Yeah, it does talk a lot about kind of sensitivity in the true crime space, like making it not necessarily about the spectacle and more about relaying facts honestly, and kind of the research aspect of true crime, which I enjoyed. There's been a couple of podcasts I've listened to that have made me very deeply uncomfortable because of the way that they've talked about certain crimes. So it's really nice that she was thinking about that while writing the book. Tautly plotted and masterfully unsettling, Night Watcher is the kind of haunting thriller that doesn't just entertain, it stays with you, making you question every noise in the dark. I didn't just read, I gasped, flinched, and clutched the pages like they were keeping me alive. Those two, by the way, the last ones, were the co-hosts of the Love Murder podcast, and I do enjoy that she got podcast hosts to review the book, because it's kind of like by a podcast host for the podcast community, because it's so much about like podcasts and the community around podcasting. There are a lot of technical parts where I feel like you kind of get to learn more about what it's like in a podcast studio and a podcasting space. But it's not overdone. It's not like that's the whole point. It's very mysterious and kind of like figuring out who the villain is, you know? It's fun. I like it. And there definitely are some really nice twists and turns in the book. So expect the unexpected.